Hello, and welcome back to our German 1890 campaign, Blood and Iron. We're currently in 1893, and in the last episode, war were declared. So we finally got to go to war with Spain. Tensions were rising very quickly with France and Great Britain. So we essentially forced the war by taking as many negative tension decisions as we could towards Spain. The US also had negative tensions happening with Spain at the time, and it gave us the option of, hey, do you want to increase your cooperation with the US at the expense of making Spain mad? And we said, yes, please, because we'd rather fight Spain than Britain or France at this time. We're not nearly as powerful as Britain or France, as you can see. We're 4 times smaller than Britain and twice as small as France. So in the very first opening battle, we managed to sink 3 Spanish battleships. We sank, I think, like 1 heavy cruiser or maybe 2, and that was about it for that. So it's a big smack to Spain, who has pretty decent battleships. Like their battleships were 10,000 tons, and the ones that we sank, yeah, like a couple of 10,000 tonners and an 8,000 tonner, and then they still have more of these Alandro 1 class and 2 more of these Velasco class. So it's still, a fairly even battle happening here. We're out tunning them a little bit, but we could very well get into some trouble if we start losing more of our big ships. We lost 2 cruisers in the exchange, but luckily, we lost 2 light cruisers. Luckily, light cruisers are going to be one of our strong suits this time. I gotta say, after playing Japan in these early years, it is very nice having some budget we can throw around. We have all these ships under construction here. If we were Japan, we would have probably half of those. We'd have half the size of the fleet as well. So anyway, let's save the game as usual. Let's back it up and push the button. This is the fight off of Spain. Luckily, they declined it because we would have probably had to decline it. Here's a fight off of Germany, which they declined. Another battle off of Spain. So about, I don't know, maybe 2,000 free victory points there or close to it. So there's a rebellion in the Baltic states. In Spain and the US are just kind of flailing at each other. So that's a good sign. If the Baltic states happen to rebel on Russia and they break free, we might be able to grab that somehow or some point. Who knows? So let's save the game again. And another battle off the coast of Spain, which we're going to decline. We'd like to take this one if we can. Nope. Well, we didn't decline, they declined, but it's all heavy cruisers versus whatever they have. So let's actually go for this. Heavy cruisers are one of our strong suits. We have 2 of our new ones here, the Rune and the Prince Adalbert. You can tell because they're 20 knots and they don't have torpedoes on them, and they also have all those secondaries. Oh, that's a US. I was wondering why there's a 19 knot cruiser in there. That's a US cruiser, so we'll take that fight. We might be a little bit low on fuel due to the distance, but we're gonna go to cruise speed and head down there towards the objective, which is to sink 2 enemy ships. Luckily, it shouldn't be too difficult if we can get in amongst any sort of corvettes or transports or anything like that. We're going to send the US ship closer to their port, actually. All right. Yep, there's one. So let's go up to battle speed. And we're going to we're going to send the US ship after this solo down here. And this looks like the Spanish Navy here. So probably a lot of light cruisers. We're going to pursue with this U.S. ship down here. It looks like an AMC. So that's a good thing. And if they want to hang back with their smaller ships and let us engage this heavy cruiser all on its own, then that is a good thing for us. The longer we have this heavy cruiser by itself down here, we're going to slow down to max -2 to increase our gunnery skill, or increase the chances of hitting at least. We're just going to send this US cruiser down the coast there and look for more shipping to sink, so that if it can catch an AMC or transport whatever on its own, then that'll essentially be mission complete. I did see a message from a KE. That's possibly one there. Is it 500 tons? It's 2,000. It's not confirmed to be a KE. We're trading some hits here. Prince Albert is taking a little bit of beating, but we're lighting these guys up with 3-inch, a lot of 3-inch and a little bit of 5-inch gunfire. Then some 6-inch, an 8-inch hit, another 8-inch, another 6, another 3. So that might have been torpedoes. So we're going to maneuver. We're going to go north. And we're going to keep our eyes peeled over here for potential transports. And we are moving at pretty high clip for our engines. So there's a very real chance we could start slowing down here at any point, losing max speed on these old engines that take coal. All right, we're lighting that guy up pretty good. We're just going to keep going down the coast. We don't want to damage an allied ship. Hopefully this time around we'll be like kind of buddy-buddy with the US. Who knows? Japan was always like, in like the later half of the game, we were like always like right on the edge of being at war with the United States in like one point or another. So this rune, it's one of our new ones. So our torpedoes are in the rear. So we're gonna turn together. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Let's go put a torpedo into it from the Hertha there. And we have completed the mission, so it's time just to get out of here. I'm going to bring the U.S. Cruiser over here to help us with our escape, the New York. If we can isolate enemy ships like that and just kind of pound them, that's good times for us. Let's see, I think it's 20 knots. It's probably been going max speed the whole time, so it may have slowed down. So we're going to go up to 20 and see if we can catch up. Looks like we are moving a little bit faster than the Don Juan de Austria. So let's turn a little bit to avoid torpedoes. And keep hitting them with our various weaponry. Turn again. Let's go to max -2 for better gunnery. We'll use the New York to cut them off a little bit. I feel like we've been hitting them pretty hard. And if we can whittle down the cruiser strength of Spain, that'll give us several advantages. Number one, they won't be able to raid us as effectively. It'll make it harder to counter raids as well. And it'll also make them keeping foreign station requirements harder, more difficult. All right, let's just fire torpedoes. I don't know if our torpedo gunnery will affect like our allied ships or not. Probably not. Our doctrines probably don't have as much of an advantage. But we're going to go to cruise speed, and we're just going to get out of here. We sank a light cruiser, a transport, and a heavy cruiser. And there's another unidentified ship, so let's chase it. It seems to be on its own. It might be that KE we saw. It looks kind of small. It's registering as a destroyer, so it's probably the corvette. And we'll just take any free kills we can get as we leave. So as it proves, our old doctrine with Japan was spam light cruisers with torpedoes, get them close, take a bunch of hits while we do so, because the whole rope-a-dope thing where we're just getting our lead ships are getting pounded, and we eventually have to break them off, like separate them from the detach them essentially and send them home because they're just getting hit so hard. But in the process, we managed to get some torpedoes off, and that's how we sink ships as Japan. Here, we have the budget and the shipyard to build pretty decent heavy cruisers from the very beginning. So, if we have the guns, like we're not -2, we don't have a bunch of like -2 quality guns. We actually have -1 quality on here, which can be upgraded. I don't know if anyone knows, or if you don't know, you can't, as far as I know, you cannot upgrade -2 guns if you get new ones, but you can upgrade -1s. Let's do turn together or fire torpedoes. And that just the change in the starting technologies makes a pretty big difference. Actually, we'll do turn together like that, so the Hertha can potentially fire off another torpedo. Not yet. We might not be able to do it. We're to like, well, I don't want to crash into it, so let's just get out of here. So we're gonna go max -2, turn off turn together, and we're just gonna get out of here. That torpedo hitting the corvette should be enough. I'm still still kind of stuck in the mindset of the last campaign where we were in the 1980s, and corvettes and destroyers were actually somewhat survivable. Like you had to be sure to finish them off, but as we discovered in our first battle there, like even our light cruisers taking one torpedo can sink it. So we did sink the corvette, we sank the transport, we got one of each. Heavy cruiser, light cruiser. Let's just take a quick look at this heavy cruiser, see how good it is. Those are like, in the beginning game, I'm always a little bit afraid of heavy cruisers. It's on par with the same heavy cruisers we started with. Um, yeah, it's basically on par. So that's pretty good for a battle. Let's run an exit. We scored prestige, which is really important. We want to have as many prestige as we can. The US and Spain are still going at it. I'm going to save the game. Let's see, we've got one heavy cruiser in repair. All of our other heavy cruisers are assigned. Hang on, these are not. So what these are going to do is they're going to raid. They're 19 knots. They won't be able to outrun anyone if they get caught. But being 19 knot heavy cruisers, let's be honest here, they're a little bit expendable. If we lose them, it stinks. Like it's not good, right? But it's not like the end of the world. Like we use our 20 knot cruisers for fighting. We use the 19 for raiding. If they can pick off some transports, some whatever, before they get intercepted and potentially sunk, good. But if they get intercepted, they can at least fight back. So let's save the game. How many Oh, we only have 6 out of 6 for trade protection. We're not building any new ones. So let's build one more of these things. I'm not a fan of this. It's an expensive, big, clunky Corvette. It's way like overtasked, like way overtasked. But that's the design that we have right now. Hmm. I'm going to decline this one because I feel like we're probably going to be outnumbered here. So let's decline this one. We're right off their coast. Do we have more ships this time? No, same. We're going to decline it. And then this one here, we'll accept it this time because we have somewhere we can run away to. So even if we're outnumbered here, we can at least run. So we're going to max speed. And these are our Giffion class and the Bremen class. The Bremen. Okay, these aren't our new ones. So these are standard. All right, 2-on-1 so far. So what's the speed on this thing? 21 knots, so it's going to be a chase. And unlike our old battleships that we had with all the forward armament built for chasing as Japan, this is going to be a little bit more complicated. But if we're scoring 6-edge hits like that, we stand a great chance of breaking something, putting a hole in the hull, slowing them down. As you can tell, I'm probably a little bit more confident here in this old era. I've played it, lightly before I did the Japan thing, and then I did play. Um, I tried to play like Italy, like for like a couple of months, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait until the next series, like the next season. Essentially, this was like a month ago or something. It was around like around Christmas. I think I had a little bit of free time when I didn't expect I would. But I was like, I'm just gonna wait till like the next season and see if people want me to play as Italy, so I don't have any spoilers for myself. So that didn't last for very long. But I do feel a little bit more confident in this old era where it's guns and torpedoes right now. The missiles, we're scoring a lot of 6 and 5-inch hits on this thing. Let's maneuver a little bit to avoid torpedoes. Missiles, I could give her, I could take her or lose them. The aircraft, I really like the aircraft. And I'm looking forward, even though we're not going to have the aircraft carrier research advantage that we did as Japan, I'm looking forward to being able to build some you know, hefty carriers to begin with here, if we have the budget. Not sure how our budget's going to look here as Germany. I watched RVT play his campaign. He started in like 1935, though. But it seemed like he had a pretty good budget to start out with. So maybe Germany, hopefully their economy will improve a little bit as we go. And we're just gunboating this thing down. Just trying to sink it. The kills take a little bit longer in this era sometimes because you're just bouncing shells off their hulls. It probably doesn't have very much armor, like 2-inch. Yeah, pretty standard. We have 2-inch armor. And that's very standard for like light cruisers in this era anyway. Oh, we've already expended it. Oh, nice. They automatically. Perfect. Look at that. That was a great victory. So we're just going to exit the battle. And that's why I didn't want to fight off the coast of Spain, because I could have been in their position, not able to run away. All right, causing food shortages in Spain. We finished. Are these the first of our new light cruisers? All right. Or is this just a new wave of them? Southern Africa. Well, they've scored first blood as far as being raiders. Save the game. So these are our new Rostock class. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them all into one division. We're going to take these, and we're going to distribute them into I guess they'll just go into their own division. Like I don't have enough divisions to do like 3 ships in each, so this will just be the seventh division. We don't really have a good way to protect Southern Africa. We could send a ship down there, but we just don't have like the port capacity really to like do much. So actually, what we're going to do is we're going to build up. Since we have a little bit extra money, we're going to build a naval base here in the Indian Ocean. And if we end up with like a decent sized port there eventually, we could have like an Indian Ocean base of operations slash fleet, whatever. So we've got 3 Rostocks finished. We're working on 3 more. So that'll be enough for essentially another whole division of these. Save the game. We have 4 Blucher class being worked on here. These are our new heavy cruisers. And let's start building one more. And the reason for that is like these Bluchers, they're gonna be a little bit, they have some extra tonnage on them. So we'll be able to upgrade them to a certain extent, but the engine will get to the point where it'll just be, well, not the engine, but like the hull. We'll get to the point where we won't be able to upgrade them any further. But they should be able to linger around for at least the next, I don't know, 7 or 8 years probably before we have to do that. And then we can probably just relegate them eventually to like the Pacific or something. But the other reason is we want to get our funds down so that if this war suddenly ends and our yearly budget gets cut in half, we don't want to risk, um, you know, the government being all mad about us having too much money. Cool, another fleet engagement. Let's do it. No pincer move this time. Unknown ship sighted. All right. Oh, we have a U.S. division with us. So let's, oh, line ahead, torpedoes off. It'll take some getting used to turn torpedoes off on heavy cruisers. It's the Pittsburgh, near to my home. All right. Let's yeah, we got our heavy cruisers a little bit mixed up here with like different classes. But as long as they're all going the same speed, they're probably fine. Alrighty. And off we go. This Hertha, we're just going to AI control. Oh, hang on. We're going to what? Screen for the first division or second, whatever. All right. These battleships are certainly nothing to write home about that we have. All right, 1 heavy cruiser. Then it looks like we got some ships in support. That might be the. This is probably the screen, and this will be the battle fleet there. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn back towards the main fleet. We're pulling in our heavy cruisers, so let's go back here and get them into the fighting formation. Squad max. This has torpedoes, so this will be good for hunting battleships. And the goal here is they have 1, 2, 3, 4 potential battleships. The goal is to get in close, torpedo those, and cripple their battleship fleet. They have 5 that are in active service right now. So that is the whole goal here currently. We should be plenty fast enough to catch up to them. So we only have torps in our rear heavy cruisers. We're going to angle off a little bit here. Yes, our poor ally is taking a little bit of a pounding, but hey, it's about time you get involved in the war there, United States. You've just been lollygagging around and dancing with Spain there in the Atlantic. You're the one who technically kind of pushed this war onwards, like started the whole thing. You're like, hey, do you have, do we have your support? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, well, okay, well, you don't have ours. We'll declare war on Spain, but we won't actually do any damage to them. Let's bring these light cruisers down to engage this heavy cruiser. Maybe we can get lucky and get in close. We are scoring some nice hits on this Aragorn class. Aragon. I said Aragorn. The true king of Gondor. If I knew a little bit more about Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings and stuff, it'd be kind of cool to start naming ship classes after characters and locations and whatnot. That's one fantasy setting that I'm familiar with, but not like intimately familiar. Not enough to just do that off the top of my head. Now, if I wanted to set this in the BattleTech universe, which is a older board game where you play as where you're like a pilot, and you're driving around like a stompy mech. If anyone's ever played Mech Warrior, that's the game basically. The Mech Warrior is the pilot for a mech, and that's what they happen to name their video games is Mech Warrior because it's probably just more catchy than BattleTech the video game. Although there is a BattleTech video game, it's like a turn-based strategy game. It's on Steam. It's pretty good. I would recommend it. It's fun. It's almost like it has almost like an XCOM feel to it, where you're running around doing missions and it's all like turn-based. But in this, like if you get shot, it doesn't like wound your guy. It instead does damage to like a part of your mech or something. It's like, oh, your left torso took a hit from a large laser. It did 10 points of damage. Okay, let's turn together here. Whoa, no, I can't quite. Okay. Let's try to line up for a torpedo here. I don't have any torpedoes on. It's the Prince Adelberg. There it is. Let's detach it. Let's turn it off AI control and send it packing. There's a good, very, very good chance we'll lose it. Because, like I said, taking one torpedo hit really does a number on you. But yeah, if I were doing a campaign where I'm naming all my stuff after mechs and locations in BattleTech, I would never run out. I've been playing those games since I was a young man back in the early 90s. All right. This is our chance. We missed, but we have another shot. Okay, the Rune is not going to have torpedoes. That's one of our new, I think that's a Prince Adelberg class, Prince Heinrich class. Adelberg is just the name of a ship. It's not an actual class. And we don't have, here it is over here. Let's not worry too much about these light cruisers. This thing here has torpedoes. Let's get it involved. Okay. Still didn't score any torpedo hits yet. But looks like we've got one of their battleships slowing down. This thing here has torpedoes. Let's make use of them. Our battleships are just not going to be involved, I guess. They're lagging too far. They're just too slow. And their battleships are 15 knots, ours are 14. And, it's not their fault that I'm sending my fleets out so far ahead, but let's really be honest here. Battleships are not ship killers in this era right now. Unless I happen to get broadside to someone like at point blank range, and then it's like a threat. This thing here is another Heinrich class. Although if you had chosen, if you all had chosen Italy as my nation to play this time around, I could have named my ships and ship classes and whatnot after Italian foods. Instead of having the Amazon or Amazon with an E on the end, I could have had the calzone. I could have had the, whatever whatever the Italian is for HMS, like their designation, it would have been the HMS, spaghetti. Here it is. Here's the Amazon. This could have been the calzone. Okay. Well, we're getting there. This, yeah, here we go. There's one that's crippled. This has torpedoes, so there we go. Fire torpedoes. We're going to go straight at them. We're going to fire torpedoes. And we're going to fire aft torpedoes. Because the bow torpedo did miss. Let's turn back around here. Turn around. Every now and then I like to shoot a torpedo out of my ship's butt at you. Turn around. Sorry. I know, I definitely know people didn't come here to hear me sing. Alright, let's angle our battleships down this way. Poor Hansa, it's just trying to get it home, but it can't understand what's happening. Alright, we don't have anything in. What? Hang on. Nah, I need to be a little bit further. Hang on. Hey, that's a nice hit. Lovely. Oops. Okay. Are we in? We're in scout. Well, we're turned together mode. That's why. I was wondering why it was doing its own thing over there. So we just put 2 or 3 torpedoes into this thing. We're trying to catch up to this. We're gonna do a little drive-by on this here to finish it off. We're still trying to catch this heavy cruiser. And all their battleships are starting to converge here. So we can put another torpedo here. That would be fantastic. There we go. So our right side is still good for torpedo tubes. Here we go. Can we put one into the bow? Nope. Well, the Pittsburgh does have torpedoes, so let's keep going a little bit further forward. There we go. Nope. Okay. Well, that's why we have these light cruisers here. This thing here is armed and dangerous. Bow torpedo, off you go. That's up here. So that's another torpedo into that guy. The Brandenburg has torpedoes as well. So we'll just go ahead and make use of it. Well, they're all broadsides. Okay. Fair enough. We're still trying to catch these battleships down here. Pittsburgh's running low on ammo. They've been involved from the very beginning. They were one of our forward cruiser divisions. So I'm wondering how much damage we did to this light cruiser here when we did our drive-by. Let's try straightening out a little bit. Okay. And then we got, I mean, we might as well just overdo it, right? It's not like these battleships are going to have much more opportunity to use their torpedoes on anyone. Putting 3 torpedoes into the same side of a ship seems like it could be fatal. All right, Bremen. Hit them with the good stuff. We missed. Venetia has torpedoes. Veneta sounds like a Italian name, really. Uh-oh. Where's that at? Down here. Oh, boy. Well, that's going to be a cruiser down. And we missed all of our torpedoes on the... Uh-oh, don't want to ram again. Friendly ship in the way. Can we fire one off? Out of arc. The poor Hella is, it's going to sink for sure. Just, ramming into the back of a battleship isn't really conducive for the long-term existence of a light cruiser. Yep. I mean, I would say that's my fault, but in this case, I don't think it's my fault so much. Can it still? No, it can't fire torpedoes. I don't think that one's my fault this time around, honestly. I wasn't looking, yeah, but I also didn't expect that battleship to just like hit the, air brakes quite that hard and slow down to the point where I'm gonna go careening into the back of it. Didn't realize it was gonna insurance scam me and, brake check me. All right, we have a rear tube. Boy, we are just missing with our torpedoes. We don't have any on here. We have them on here. All right, let's bring the battleships over, I guess. They're going to do yet another torpedo run. Cruise speed for the U.S. cruisers. Let's just take them home. Or cruise speed and go home. cruise speed, go home, and uh, go home. It's on 6 knots because it ate a torpedo. Let's just see. We have starboard side, so our right side should be good to go. All right, come on. These point blank torpedoes. Hey, there we go. We finally scored one. So let's try for a follow up. These things don't have any, so this is just a gun run here. But we will try for a follow up with the Bremen. Fire torpedoes. Oh, we've expended that one. All right, so we're going to go down here and go for this one. And if that doesn't work, we have the battleships. So off we go. Nope. Out of arc. Weirdly. Fire torpedoes. Out of arc. Well, gosh, heck. All right, well. Being very stubborn here. Are we good now? Oh, hang on. I'm. This is my right side. That's why. This is my. Sorry, it's my fault. All right, we want to go for the left side, port side torpedo tubes. Okay. We're still out of arc. Fire away. There we go. We're going to use the second battleship in line to try to finish off that one. Fire. Hit. And fire. No, not allowed. All right, then we'll bring these battleships down here. There we go. Fire. There's one. We're going to fire another one. And we'll try to put one more into it if we can. Okay. And we have any torpedoes? We do on the Friedrich Karl. So we're going to turn together and go this way. And then they misunderstood the signal. It doesn't matter because it sank. All right, let's get everyone home. There's still like a couple of light cruisers probably running around out there. I think at least one, but I'm not too concerned about that. Yeah, there is one out there. Let's get the York home, and off we go. Hopefully we'll get enough distance that this battle will end, and then it'll be the end of the episode probably. Oh, we got some engine issues. These old, not so great engines. All right, so how do we do? We lost the cruiser, we knew that. We sank 4 battleships. We sank the only heavy cruiser they brought, and we sank half the light cruisers, just one. They brought 2, we sank 1. We'll take it. Leave the scenario. 2 prestige points. Battle of Horns Reef. We lost a cruiser, we gain a cruiser. Let's keep going a few more months. Cool. We want to get some concessions out of this. Okay. Save the game. So this I'm going to assign to the first cruiser division. And this one here down at the bottom I'm going to assign to the second, because these are our new ones. So we're going to go 1, 2. Throw them into their own division. I just like, if possible, I want to keep the divisions together. You can see how messy all this is. This is just, it's an embarrassment. All right, save the game. Take a look at the almanac. Spain has 2 battleships left in service, so they finished one of the 2 that they were working on. They have 3 heavy cruisers in service and 6 light cruisers. Let's see here. So their new battleships are these Numancia 1 class. Oh, I guess we don't have any details on it, but it's 8,400 tons. Probably not going to be that great. We're not going to worry about building any battleships for now ourselves. Anyhow, yeah, it's probably the end of this episode. We're doing pretty good. We've lost a couple ships here and there, but we are whittling down our foe. The war should end, eventually. All the tensions will drop, our budget will drop, and we'll have to rebuild our economy. But we do have a nice navy that is underway here. We have a bunch of bleachers that are close to being finished. Well, not even close, probably a year and a half until they're actually ready, like worked up and all that. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see y'all next time. And until then, sail safe out there.